News with Gina.
The News with Gina Grad.
Here's a question for you, LennoxLewis, as I think about you. I've said to people in the past that boxing is a sport, and you can be good at a sport like you could be good at tennis or basketball, but you don't have to be angry and be good at tennis. You can just be good at tennis. Is that how you approached boxing? Like, I'm better at this than other guys, but I don't need to bite them, and I don't need to snarl at them, and I don't need to yell at them.
100%.
It's a sport, and I'm going to study the sport. I'm going to be better at the sport than them, and I'm going to beat them.
Yeah, I always get upset when guys take it off of that. You know, they start talking about your mother and this and that. I'm like, you shouldn't really dwell there. You shouldn't go that far. You know, you could say, oh, you're a bum. I'm going to beat you. You're lousy, this and that. You know, that's good talk. But when you start taking it personal, it's just bad talk.
Yeah. The reason that wouldn't work for me is because it'd go, your mom's a whore. And I'd go, well,
I mean,
you
there.
make some valid points.
She didn't make any money off it.
It wasn't perfect. That's for sure. That's for sure.
Probably better take the Lennox approach where you're focusing on strategy and technique and not on puffing your chest out or, you know what I mean? Or talking her on.
I tried to, like explain. I've had that conversation with a few people just from my limited boxing experience where they went, you're a comedian and you're nice and this guy's mean and he's got tattoos and he's a badass. And I'd go, no, it's just a sport and I've played the sport more than they've played the sport. So it doesn't really matter if they're angry or they have tattoos. If you've started playing tennis or the piano or basketball or football or whatever at a young age, then you'd be better at it than a guy. He's angry. He hasn't played basketball, but he's got a tattoo and he's angry at the court.
He's the bad boy of tennis.
Yeah. It's like, look, aggression, I get it. And you're punching people and all that. But at the end of the day, Lennox won because he was better at the sport than these guys
he
were.
hated everybody.
Right. And the guys who wanted to treat it and be motivated by anger and sort of an emotion would actually get beat quicker than the guy who was engaging in the sport.
You know, somebody said to me, he said, boy, you're so calm in the ring. What do you do? You know, why are you so calm? Sorry, outside of the ring and you're vicious inside. What's the difference? I said, it's a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. You know, Mr. Jekyll would come in. As soon as I step into the ring, Mr. Jekyll appears. Mr. Hyde appears when I'm out of the ring.
Right. But even inside the ring, you never seem to lose your composure. I mean, it seemed pretty calculated.
My thing is pure focus. Pure focus. I only see one thing, and that's me winning. You know, people always say, well, you know, why are you so focused? Why do you look like that? Because I'm imagining myself winning ahead of time. It's like I've won. If I lose, I don't know where that came from because I wasn't thinking about losing. You know what I mean? So I've always thought about winning.
I would imagine just with hearing this conversation, it would be more intimidating to see somebody who you're smack talking not react than somebody just smack talking you. You know, if you can't get under their skin, now you're scared.
Well, there's two parts to that because you could be talking to them, they're listening and they're taking you in, but they don't want to show that they're taking you in. And then everything that you've said, oh, I'm going to smash you, I'm going to do this, they're thinking about at nighttime. Then when you get close to the fight, it's like, okay, they're still thinking about what you've said. They've never said anything back to you. So that's the power going into the ring. You got to interrupt that power and say, no, you're not. You can't beat me. And laugh at him. Now, that's when it works. That's the mind games there. Right. If a man's laughing at you when you told him you're going to knock him out, it's like, okay.
That's scary.
Yeah, it's like, you know, he's not taking me serious. I'm upset. You know, I'm going to knock him out. Yeah, sure, buddy.
All right, Gina, what do you got?
Well, Jussie Smollett, he finally opened up to GMA's Robin Roberts and told his story about his claims of a racist and homophobic attack, which occurred in Chicago 2 weeks ago. He had gone pretty silent about this, and then he talked to Robin. So before we get into a lot of the story, here's about a minute and 20-second clip from the interview. He's talking about how he was on the phone with his manager at the time of the attack, and this is what he has to say.
He was on the phone. I heard, as I was crossing the intersection, I heard Empire. And I don't answer to Empire. My name ain't Empire. And I didn't answer. I kept walking. And
Hold on, pause it for a second. People yell, hey, man, show, and I stop and turn around all the time.
You shouldn't answer to that.
What am I, an idiot? I should never do that. I get, hey, man, show! And I go,
How dare
I
you?
shouldn't answer that.
No.
Listen, I answered to Champ. Hey, Champ!
Oh, well, that's different. Hey, white dick.
Wow.
Huh? Yeah?
Must be me.
Talking to me? All right. He doesn't answer
doesn't
to
like
Empire.
that.
All right. No more answering Demand Show. And no more telling anyone when where are the juggies? No more giving out addresses.
Don't dignify that.
Where's Dr. Drew?
Well, I get
Up
that,
yours.
too. All right. I do that. Hey, Man Show. Where's Dr. Drew? I always stop and turn around.
Don't do it.
No more. All right. Here we go.
Empire. So I turned around and I said, "The did you just say to me?" And I see the attacker masked. And he said, "This MAGA country," punches me right in the face. So I punched his ass back. And then we started tussling. You know, it was very icy. And we ended up tussling by the stairs. Fighting. There was a second person involved who was kicking me in my back. And then it just stopped. And they ran off. And I saw where they ran. And the phone was in my pocket, but it had fallen out. And it was sitting there. And my manager was still on the phone. So I picked up the phone and I said, "Brandon." And he's like, "What's going on?" And I said, "I was just jumped." And then I looked down and I see that there's a rope around my neck, which I hadn't.
You hadn't noticed it before?
No,
You didn't
because
see?
it was so fast. You know what I'm saying? It was so fast.
How long did...
So he told the police that when he was on the phone with the manager that, you know, when the attack occurred, but he as we talked about the other day, he won't hand his phone over to the police. He explained that he's trying to protect various contacts. You know, he doesn't want them getting out, their personal information leaked, you know, his famous friends or whatever. As for why it took so long for him to call 911, he explained that there was a level of pride. He didn't want to look weak. But when police finally came about 30 minutes later, he showed them bruises on his face and a burn on his neck. Smollett said he believes the cloud of doubt around his story is also rooted in racism and his public criticism of the president. But like we said before, there's a lot of printed information he gave them that was redacted, and there's no surveillance footage of this happening, even though there's surveillance cameras everywhere. So the police are still kind of scrambling to make sense of this.
Well, my feeling is it's he said, she said, and he's got to give him the phone, or he's got to figure out technologically, and I don't know how to do this, but you got to figure out a way to, if someone's on the phone and this all went down and it was all recorded and it's going to verify everything you said,
right,
you got to get him the phone. I don't know who else is he worried? I don't know enough about phones. There's people's names on that phone that they're going to find and put out.
Their name and their phone number at least. He said there's some private photos. He doesn't just want to say
probably
here's
text
my
with
phone.
cast members about other cast members.
Yeah.
About the,
but you think it'll be leaked by the police?
I guess
if I was that famous, on TV or whatever, I wouldn't. Depending on the crime, of course, I wouldn't want to give my phone over to somebody.
But do you have to give them? So I guess what I'm saying is isn't there a way to supervise this? Like, like when there's some article in Congress or something and they go, you can go into this room, you can access this room, you can view it, and then you can leave, but you can't leave with it.
Right.
You can't take a picture of it with your phone.
It would seem like you can meet with a detective and go over things.
Yeah, he
could
be
pretty
there.
doable. It doesn't seem like you could just be there and go, here's this night, but no other nights.
I'm confused. The man's on the phone with his manager. How is he? There's nothing being recorded at that time. So what do the police want with his phone?
A record of the call?
Yeah,
maybe?
Now they're
to prove he was on the phone?
That's exactly right.
Okay, even though...
there's nothing that can't get the conversation?
No, they're not recording.
No, you have to go to Apple.
Conspiracy.
Well, then it's not. So then all you're trying to do is
prove that he was on the phone
at that time, which doesn't prove that
means,
much.
Yeah.
Well, and from what I've read, and Chris, maybe but the manager maybe has changed his story a little bit, whether they were on the phone or not. So it's very confusing.
Max Zapata, you look like as a young person.
Well,
you seem like you have an idea here.
No, I'm also confused about why they need his phone. I don't know if don't they still keep phone records of whenever you're on the phone? Can't you just go to the phone company?
Well, you're right. They hand you a bill, and it's itemized of what the calls you've made.
So it's got to be more than you were on the phone at this time, because that doesn't prove anything other than you were on the phone at that time. Yeah. So there must be something that they think they're going to be able to retrieve. Somebody's listening. Someone will tell us.
Or if they can ping a location.
Let me tell you, this is the perfect time to bite. That was the perfect time to start biting.
Yeah, that's when you want to bite.
Yeah, not during a press conference.
Right.
Yeah, I've talked to Mark Garrigas about triangulating and things of that nature, which they wouldn't let him do with Scott Peterson, I think.
Seems like
The technology may not have been what it is today, too.
They wouldn't give him, they wouldn't let him have it. They could have done it. He was trying to triangulate like Peterson's whereabouts during the blah, 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 and they wouldn't do it, but now maybe they will. Anyway, we'll find out more about it.
That story will absolutely be, it will continue, and we'll find out more. So a Delta Airlines flight from Orange County, California to Seattle was forced to make an emergency landing in Reno, Nevada when it hit this extreme pocket of turbulence. A couple pictures to show you. Passengers on board reported being tossed out of their seats, and a large beverage cart, which we're looking at, flipped over in the aisle. 3 people were injured and taken to the hospital. One passenger reported that the plane went into a full nosedive at least twice. It's believed the turbulence was related to a strong winter storm passing through the area.
This is why you have to drink on a plane, kids.
Yeah.
Well, they're trying. The drink cart was out.
I know.
They had to flip with it.
I
said stir it, not shake it?
I think about the last 5 times I've ordered booze on a plane, they've never charged me. Like when I was in coach and I just went, give me a vodka and tonic or whatever. They do the, we'll come back. I don't know.
Not too sticklers
and
about
they
it.
just, it's a weird catch can thing with the charging of the booze. Sometimes they're on it. Other times they just don't seem to care.
Right.
Which means it must not cost them anything.
It must not. I've been on Southwest several times where I'll have the drink ticket, but it's either expired or it's up in my, bag above. I'm like, I'm in the middle seat or whatever. I'm like, I can get don't worry about it. I'm like, thanks.
There's in a world full of policies around booze, especially, there is no policy about booze in the air. Has anyone ever asked? I've never asked. You're in the airport.
Okay.
You go, as I've stated in 50 Years We'll Be Chicks, I think, and somewhere in that book. I was like in the Phoenix airport, and a dude who looked like Dawson's grandfather owned a gold mine in 1871.
Pickaxe over his shoulder?
She just walked up to the bar, and he went, I have a Jack straight up or whatever, and the guy went, I need to see some ID. And the guy went, you got to be shitting me. Because the guy was like 72 and had a full gray beard, and he's like, no ID, no drink.
How do I know you're over 21?
And it's like, but it's okay. And you just go,
I can lose my job.
Right. That's what it is, by the way. Sure. You're going to lose your job at the airport.
Yeah.
Good for you.
The precious commodity.
Your dad will drink some champagne if you ever lose your job. Anyone other than a pilot who loses their job at an airport, that's a good day.
Do you get drunker quicker in the air?
I like to think so.
In Denver, yeah.
I've never really tested it out.
You're probably taking more flights than all of us combined.
You're jealous.
Yeah, but I don't get drunk.
Nah.
Well, we're going to have to kind of wrap this up. Lennox is premier boxing champion of the Fox. There. Check it out. Or not.
It's Oliver McCall in here.
No, but then you get in the air, they don't want to see ID.
Yeah.
I've no idea. I've never seen anyone around me. I mean, look, I'm old, but I've flown with 23-year-old chicks in a row in front of me. They didn't ask them for any ID.
Yeah.
When you're on the ground, it's like we ask for ID every time, all the time. It doesn't matter who it is. You get in the air, no ID, and we'll charge you or we won't charge you.
Yeah.
Also, here's another one they do as well. This is kind of the element of where it's sort of like if you go, you're at McDonald's or whatever, and you go, or at In-N-Out Burger, and you go, oh, could I have a little extra ketchup? And they reach in with both hands to a basket of ketchup, and they throw it at you, like, never come back, never ask for ketchup again.
Ties you over
This is a lifetime ketchup. It's a condiment version of shut up and leave. But I have also asked for, like, a vodka soda, and they give you 2 little vodka bottles, which is, I don't want to, obviously, look, it's 11 in the morning. You obviously have a problem. I don't want to have to come back in 20 minutes. Like, here, take this and go away. No charge.
Yeah.
It's just everything, right?
Question.
Yes.
Has anybody ever been arrested in the air?
Oh, you brought up a very good question, Mr. Lewis.
They've been, they've had air marshals. They've had other people like restrain them, and they get emergency landed and dragged off the plane.
But they're arrested when they're on the on the ground.
You're talking about something. You're broaching a subject that Adam's passionate about. Please.
I just want a cage in the back of the airplane so we don't have to divert to Denver.
I couldn't understand. I know you guys
must fly a ton of private, Lennox.
Yeah. You must have seen this one where this guy came on the plane. He wanted a drink, and the lady said, no, you can't. And he pushed her. He was like upset that he didn't get his drink. He's like, what's wrong with this guy? He really wanted a drink.
That was Adam Carolla.
Yeah.
He was
Do we know?
overserved. I may have been
We were there.
overserved. Oh, you have the line from In 50 Years We'll All Be Chicks? Sorry.
No, I was just confirming that.
Oh, it was. It was in there.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah, so anyway, they don't ask for ID in the air.
Yeah.
They don't check.
They don't want you up and
Very
down
permissive.
bothering them.
They're just, it's catch as catch can
Yeah.
in the air. But anyway, that is my greatest fear, that nosedive, even if it's temporary.
It's no good. So TMZ reports that Kim Kardashian West had an unforgettable Valentine's Day, courtesy of husband Kanye West and saxophonist Kenny G.
Oh, no.
Kanye arranged for the famous saxophonist to serenade his wife with a special Valentine's Day performance in their living room that all the furniture was taken out of and filled with dozens of multicolored roses. We have the video. Feast your ears on this.
All right.
And watch Kanye's response.
Kenny G.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. All right, we'll get the sound worked out. Kenny, so it's a giant living room filled with roses that are coming up from the ground.
Yeah, like
From the
singular
carpet.
They're in
vases.
vases.
Yeah.
There are 250 roses equally spaced, like a graveyard.
Yeah.
It's a completely empty room with just the vases of roses and Kenny G.
Now watch Kanye.
Do you have to pay Kenny G for this? Or I know everyone's
personal
nodding,
favorite.
but is he doing, is it
No.
kind of cool publicity for him? Like,
Yeah.
As we were recording this, Kenny G is the #1 trending topic.
He
online.
can't, yeah.
Saying,
he should
like,
be
buy
paying
that kind of
Kanye.
publicity.
what's he need $40,000 of Kanye's money? You know, it's not like he's doing an 8-minute comedy set in his backyard like the Ace Man. That you got to pay for.
Well, Kenny's been down to rehab a few times, a few divorces. He's got some bills. Oh, no.
She's a squeaky clean.
Where's Kim?
She may
She's
be
with Ray
filming.
J getting banged from behind.
How long does it have to go on for Kenny G? Like, am I good for one song?
She's in Mexico. But other than that, slight miscalculation. It was a great idea.
Yeah.
I don't know. Did Kim come down into the room?
I
That
think
was
she
her
was
with the
filming
phone.
it.
Yeah.
Oh, she's filming
Yeah,
it.
she
sorry.
tweeted the video out herself.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
So,
I
Kenny,
don't know. I could have did something better than that.
What are
You
you
could've
thinking?
done
What you
better.
got?
Like
seal.
Like definitely some sunshine, something outside and flowery. Obviously, that was inside, but it must have been raining down there like over here.
So Kenny G in the backyard. That's what you're saying?
Yeah, no, us in a jacuzzi without Kenny G, obviously, but he's up there serenading us.
what if
I
Kenny
like that.
is down below in the jacuzzi, taking care of her and breathing through,
The circular breathing techniques.
just breathing through his saxophone like a reed, like in the movies when you'd go in, undercover,
I don't think that's what they're for.
Yeah, but a regular saxophone is no good for breathing in a jacuzzi because of the shape.
Right.
It'll come right back down on you.
I get it.
His is perfect because he does the breathing straw
Sure.
saxophone.
You may be onto something.
And
I
he
think I
could
was
be down
wrong.
there taking care
Yeah.
of Kim's
Uh-huh.
while you're up top,
What's
you know?
What's that sound, Kim? Nothing.
Or after this, all of a sudden, she gets calls from Kenny G all the time.
Right. No,
He's got the
Blowing
keys to
her
the
out.
house. Yeah.
like he felt the connection. Yeah, you're right.
It's a very good point.
Mm. God, the thing I'll never understand about Kenny G is a saxophone is the coolest instrument to be seen playing. Like a guitar, rock guitar is good. Drum kit's pretty
Yeah,
good.
but you're holding that sax close.
But that sax, like when you're really rocking like Rob Lowe and St. Elmo's Fire, you're looking good with it.
Good example.
He played this stupid little piper. He plays
Yeah,
the
the
most
alto sax.
effeminate.
Little
Like
penny whistle.
it's nothing.
It's not Clarence Clemens.
You don't look at Clarence, the big man.
Yeah.
He looks great
Yeah.
playing that thing.
Yeah.
Can you imagine how bad Clarence would look? Hey, big man, and he's got that stupid
Snake
little
charmer one?
Yes.
Yeah. No
Play
good.
the good one. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, U.S. Marines have been pictured drinking cobra blood as they took part in military exercises in Thailand, according to the New York Post. So the soldiers were given the cobra blood, and I think we have a picture, as part of their jungle training in the largest American-led military exercise in Asia called Cobra Gold. The troops were taught how to survive in extreme jungle conditions. The annual event got underway on Tuesday with 7 countries participating: Singapore, Japan, China, India, South Korea, Indonesia, Malaysia, and the U.S.
This feels like a trap.
Royal Thai Marine instructors showed the troops how to drink the blood from a cobra and how it can save their life, help them to stay alive when there's no drinking water available, and it provides essential nutrition.
It's probably high in glucose.
Are they hazing us?
It's like high in sugar, probably.
Yeah, probably
I'm sure it's the best. Although I don't think. Well, there's like those cultures are like, you got to drink the tiger's blood and have the horn of the rhino, and all that stuff. And it's like, I think you could basically eat a feral cat blood and still get the same thing you got out of a cobra.
Blood.
You guys are forgetting. First you have to catch the cobra.
That's what I'm saying.
That's a good point.
That seems like a tougher thing to do when you're out trapped in the jungle.
Yeah.
Go find a cobra.
Oh, cobras usually find you.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
something's trying to bite me. Let me just kill it. Oh, let me drink the blood.
Yeah, you're right. I think that is part of the that's part of the process, because then you can survive anything if you catch a cobra with your bare hands.
It also makes for a kind of good movie of the week, like where the guy comes home after the training, and at some point, like he's just standing out in the patio drinking a beer, and there's a little muskrat that goes along the fence, and his hand just smacks it, grabs it, and puts it in his mouth, and of course the wife gets a little nervous. Hon, what was that?
I don't know.
And you just see him start to slowly think like a cobra.
Yeah.
Just think about the jungle people. They're probably laughing at these people like, yo, these guys have to catch a snake. I'm just digging up this root and eating this root. It tastes better.
We got rutabaga right here.
Yeah,
Motor City Cobra was what boxer, LennoxLewis?
Cobra was what's his name? The Cobra, the body snatcher. Forgot his name.
Tommy the Hitman Hearns.
Oh yes,
Tommy the Hitman
I'm thinking
Hearns
of somebody else.
was the Motor City Cobra,
Oh, I didn't know about that.
I believe. Yeah, I think he had 2 nicknames. Anyway,
That name is pretty badass. Motor City Cobra.
Yeah, what's better,
Doesn't
the
totally
Hitman?
make sense, but
Well, you Hitman, you have the
You have the
alliteration with
alliteration,
Hearns. Motor City Cobra, not so much. Who'd you like? You were a Muhammad Ali guy.
I love the middleweights. It was Marvis Hagler for me, the guy that switches up. The guy that trained in a cave. He didn't like press. He didn't like anybody. He just, just don't call him late for dinner.
In the nickname, not nickname, change my name legally department, who's better? Marvelous Marvin Hagler, who changed his name to Marvelous.
That's pretty good.
wow.
Or World Be Free.
Marvelous Marvin.
Better than World Be Free.
World Be Free's good. Marvelous Marvin better. You're marvelous.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he
What
just
about
put
Puff
Marvelous
Daddy?
in front of... Yeah, but I don't think that's that on his driver's license?
All right, Mr.
Still-
Daddy, no ticket today.
Still probably says Sean
What
Combs.
about Prince? A sign. Change your name to a sign. That's what I was thinking about, changing my name to a sign.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A big
Fist.
Yield.
Who's that?
Yield.
That's
Big
LennoxLewis.
fist. Yeah, yield to the fist. I like it.
Ooh, there's probably a good chance, because this is something that was on your bucket list, or it still is. Mr. Lewis, is there any chance that your hands have had to be registered in any state in the United States?
Yes.
Wow.
I have? That's on my list.
Yes.
Where have they...
That's awesome.
There's some state down south. Every boxer, any boxer that boxes in that state has to register their hands.
Really?
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, because that's the first time I'm trying to stay off the police list, all those type of things. And when they're taking, I've never been arrested. Oh, why do you have to do this? Oh, you're boxing in this state. We're gonna have to take your license and information about you and your fingerprints.
Do you remember what state it's in?
No, I can't remember, but I did think that was odd.
Don't you think that's badass?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
Because
he's
you
on
seem
board.
irritated by it. Awesome.
At first I was, because I didn't have no police record. Now they're giving me one.
Marvis, boxing while black. Marvelous. Well, there was a Marvis Frazier
Oh.
as well.
Yeah.
You remember, you probably beat Marvis Frazier?
No, I never boxed him.
He
Tyson
boxed
him.
before you.
Yeah,
a little
boxed
before.
Tyson,
Yeah, so there was a Marvis Frazier.
Wow.
And in a heavyweight.
And a
not
Mavis.
not a big
Joe
guy.
Frazier's son.
Joe Frazier's son was Marvis Frazier, who who sort of famously got in with Larry Holmes like way sooner than he should have. And Larry Holmes was, it's one thing to have a guy beat you up. It's another thing to have a guy like pump a jab in your face with his left hand and with his right hand signal to the ref like, hey, come over. You're going to stop this.
Help
Am I
him
going
out.
to end this? Or am I going to have to like keep doing this to this guy who probably
It's a level of losing.
shouldn't be here, but his dad was Joe Frazier, and everyone kind of wanted him to be. The problem with a lot of the sons is the sons have the physical ability because their dad is a renowned, world champion, but they grow up rich. So they're missing that component of hungry.
Yeah.
All right, well, we've been talking a little bit about Bill Cosby, and now there is more Cosby news. In his first message from prison, Bill Cosby calls himself a political prisoner like Gandhi. Jesus. The disgraced comedian who is serving 3 to 10 years behind bars for sexual assault writes, quote, "My political beliefs, my actions of trying to humanize all races, genders, and religions landed me in this place surrounded by barbed wire fencing.
Now,
a
hold
room
on.
made of
Lennox,
steel and iron."
I know you're big Alan Thicke and Benny Hill guy. I see I covered Canada
You did
and
really
then
good.
I covered
Yep.
the UK.
That's right.
Is any thoughts on Cosby? Was he big? Do you know him growing up? I mean, you know the name, but was he big when you were in the UK and in Canada?
Not as a comedian, as a host. I seen him in a couple movies and stuff, and I liked him in those movies.
Ghost Dad, Leonard Part 6.
Yeah.
All the
All
good
the
ones,
classics.
all the big ones, all the nominated
Yep.
stuff. But he's a political prisoner.
Yeah, he then compares his temporary residence to the quarters of, quote, some of the greatest political prisoners, Martin Luther King Jr., Mahatma Gandhi, Nelson Mandela, Randall Robinson, and Dr. Benjamin Chavis. I stand upright as a political prisoner, and I smile. Cosby also insists... Yeah.
So the claim is that his deeds, his political work or whatever, his work in the community, this is retribution?
Well, this is some sort of vengeance for what he stood for.
All he did was get doctorates and
I know.
Be America's father.
Yeah.
All I gotta
I'd
say,
say diversity respected.
like when we were just talking about Jussie and what about the phone and turn the phone in and a little gray area here. If you ever see the interview of I think she was a female basketball player, and he went to her home, or
Right.
she went to his home, and the story she tells, I always tell you about the super specific stuff. That is a super specific event by a woman who's super sober, who's basically saying this is exactly
went
went down.
Yep.
And when you hear her sort of account of the incident, it doesn't sound like there's
No room for
there's
error.
no wiggle room in
Right.
that story.
Andrea
It's super
Constand.
specific. There's no gray areas. There's no we got a yearbook from his high school. Like there's none of that. There's
No.
just her
This is
telling
how it-
exactly what happened,
Right.
very specifically, and it's very believable.
Well, Cosby also insists that he's a victim of entrapment perpetrated by, quote, a low-life district attorney and a corrupt judge.
Bad luck. Got 'em
Let
both.
me. All right, so we have to ask about his wife. So I'm always interested. Camille.
I was like, Carmela.
Camille.
Yeah.
Is Camille happy? Like Camille has cleared this guy. This guy's
Complicated question.
He's a philanderer.
Yeah.
He's probably a bit of a blowhard.
Yeah.
Probably smokes a cigar in the kitchen. She can't stand that.
Get rid of him.
He's out. Like she's been standing by her man, but she's got to deal with
decades.
all of it.
Yeah.
He's cleared out. She's in a big house in Bel Air.
And
She can
hasn't-
relax.
She hasn't visited him because the article said that his attorney's the only one who's been to visit him.
She's happy. Like she can't have a press conference saying thank God, but
Right.
she's
I
relieved,
think,
right?
I think there's relief is the word I would use. Yeah, I think there's a lifting off the shoulders.
Yeah. All right,
burden.
let's do one more.
All right. Well, this is good news for so many of us. More details are coming out about the Breaking Bad sequel. A feature-length movie based on the hit TV show is in the works, and according to The Hollywood Reporter, it will revolve around Aaron Paul's Jesse Pinkman character. Sources say that Netflix will have first-run rights to the top-secret project, which will then air on AMC, which is where the TV show aired. Series creator Vince Gilligan will write and direct the movie, which will, quote, follow the escape of a kidnapped man, that's Jesse Pinkman, and his quest for freedom. And of course, Bryan Cranston said if the script calls for it, he's in.
God, Cranston, he's basically the white Kevin Hart. Like he just never,
everywhere.
never stops. He just never stops making movies,
Yeah.
right?
Can't keep him
Was he
down.
just in a movie with Kevin Hart?
Yeah.
Well done.
The upside?
All they do is make movies. Like, they must make 6 movies a year. And I think, and I don't know, but I know him a bit, he didn't have a lot of success from 0 to 40,
right.
And I think there's a sort of making hay while the sun shines.
He was Malcolm's dad, and that was it.
I know. The thing about him
That's
too
how
is he could be anything. I mean, he does comedy, drama, anything, and he's everything.
Certainly it helps to be talented. Do we bring it home, Gina Grad?
We'll do it right now. I'm Gina Grad, and that's the news.
That was the news with Gina Grad.